We have all had really shit job interviews, I am sure, especially now with this like current labor market where like everyone's applying for so many jobs and nobody's getting hired, right? But I have a story. This is a true story that happened to me that I think blows many people's like horrible job interview stories out of the water. The job I interviewed for at the time was called KLA. They are still called KLA. I don't know why I said at the time. I interviewed for a job with KLA. They are a computer chip company. This job that I interviewed for, I wasn't like perfectly qualified. I reached the minimum level of like qualifications they were asking for in the job posting. And so I applied for the job. I got the phone screening. I apparently did well on the phone screening because I met the hiring manager. The hiring manager, her name was Alice Lai. Alice Lai, for the entire interview, she was very distracted, right? She was not a great interviewer. At one point of the interview, she asked me why I had left my previous job that was in New York to apply for this job with KLA in Michigan. I told her the truth. I told her that my mom had been diagnosed with lung cancer. She was dying. I wanted to spend what time I had left with my mom still being alive. I wanted to spend that with my mom and also to help take care of my mom because people who are dying, they require a lot of aid. Alice Lai, I swear I am not kidding. Her name is Alice Lai. And she did actually do this. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "How could you lie about something like that?" I was not lying, by the way. Like, just so we're clear, my mom legitimately was dying. She is dead now. At the time, she was dying from lung cancer. I was very shocked. I was kind of found out. Like I told her, like I wasn't lying. This is legitimately why I left New York, why I am in Michigan, where my parents lived, and like why I was looking for a job in Michigan, where my mom was at, my dying mom. She just refused to believe that like I was telling the truth about my mom. And so the interview continued. It was pretty uneventful for most of the rest of the interview, other than like that one little bit. At least in comparison to her thinking I was lying about my mom. Until the end, when she said that I was not going to get the job, first of all. She told me that outright. And she said, next time when I apply for a job, I should read the job description and make sure that I qualify for the job requirements. Like I mentioned earlier, I did qualify for the job requirements. I like hit the basic requirements and then some. But this was something that was very interesting to me because I don't know if you guys know this. I have hired people before, like within a corporation, right? I've also like hired people like outside of the corporations, but like within corporations, I've hired people. The hiring manager is the one who decides who they want to interview. HR does initial screening to decide which resumes to send to the hiring manager. The hiring manager is the one who looks at those resumes that HR sends over and decides who from that list of resumes they want to interview. And so Alice Lai, she got my resume on her table. This must like what this means is that Alice Lai must have gotten my resume on her table. She saw my name, she saw my education, she saw my work history. She said, yes, this person is qualified enough for the job that I am hiring for that I want to talk to this person. So how is it that like when she was reviewing my resume, I was qualified, but when I was talking about the stuff on the resume in more specific detail, I suddenly wasn't qualified. I think what really happened is like she didn't actually look at my resume before agreeing to talk to me, which is pretty stupid. She's wasting her own time. Because she's not looking at my resume. She's not looking at the other people that she's talking to's resume. And so what I'm pretty sure happened is that she was projecting her not reading my resume, and so she needed that with me not reading the job description. Which again, I've not mentioned this before. I did qualify for. I'm sorry. And so it's just like projection on her part after the whole like debacle with my mom. who she thought I was lying about, who was dying and is currently dead. And then like the interview ended, and then I was pretty upset, understandably. And so I sent her an email. I copy pasted the job postings requirements, or like minimum qualifications. And for each bullet point that was listed, I wrote a whole paragraph talking about like explicitly like why I was like qualified for this after being accused of not being qualified. And I was like calling her out. I was like, look, bitch, every single one of these ding 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 ding. You said I wasn't qualified. I am qualified. I will shove this in your face. I am qualified. She never responded to the email. A couple years later, I looked her up and found that she was no longer working at KLA. She had taken a job at Amazon. I don't know if that's where she is now. This was a while ago, but she had taken a job at Amazon. Something that stood out to me is that, according to her LinkedIn, she left KLA in, I believe, like January or February of that year. But she didn't start at Amazon until about April or May. So there's like a several month period in between KLA and Amazon, which means like it kind of looks like she got forced out of the company, like she got fired, and which I'm not really surprised. Like if you're gonna accuse a stranger of lying about their dying mom, and sorry, I keep bringing that up. That's like something that's like it's really like very just like stuck in my head. That like how like brazen can be to like to like accuse someone lying about their dying mom. If you're the type of person to accuse someone of that, you're probably not like a great person to work for and to work with. So, in my head canon, I'm thinking she probably got like people got tired of her, kicked her out of the company, and she had to like take a couple months before she found another job at Amazon. And I feel like maybe in hindsight, since I didn't work with this bitch, I guess it was a good thing I didn't get the job. I'm in a good working spot now. I like my company. I like the work I do. And so I guess it all worked out. But it was definitely the worst job interview that I ever had.